Before this video begins, make sure you guys subscribe. Also, make sure you join my new Discord server. Lastly, if you want some merch, the link is in the description, and make sure you follow me on all of my social medias. Yo, what is up, guys? It is Nick from Big Ends Gaming, and welcome back to another MLB The Show 21 news video, as today was the first feature premiere. It was awesome, so I'm here to recap it. So they went over a lot of gameplay stuff. So first, I'm going to start with the gameplay styles. And the gameplay styles, they went over a few things. They didn't really add much that we haven't already known. But here in my notes, I have that the engine changes per style. So the AI is going to differ per style. So I think an example they gave was in beginner mode, if you steal a couple bases, they're not going to try and pick you off. They'll just ignore that. But in balanced or whatever the medium one is and like competitive, they're going to try to pick you off. So that's something nice to have, where the AI will give you more leeway when you're in casual mode compared to competitive mode, which it'll give you less leeway. So that's something that I really wanted to bring up in the gameplay styles part. Another part is for competitive, which is the online default. It is no longer 50-50 between 50% user input and 50% AI. They're trying to make it 100% on the user. So let's say you get a good swing, they're making it 100%. The result of that is based off of your swing, not 50% off your swing and 50% off the AI. It's 100% off of the swing. So they're just trying to make the competitive modes more user-based, which is always great. Now we're going to go to check swings, and this one was pretty cool. For check swings, we have the check swing indicator. And this is very cool. As you can see, I'm just rolling some footage. They are actually indicating where your bat was from the check swing, and they actually show you. And you can see where your bat ended up. In the previous years, you couldn't actually see where your bat ended up on the check swing, so you couldn't tell if the game was right or wrong. But now you can. Also, discipline is now removed from check swing, so the discipline stat, I'm pretty sure the discipline stat doesn't ever affect online play, because I don't know what else it would be for, because that's just what it was for before this year, but now it doesn't affect check swings. It's also 100% on user input and no longer based off of the discipline attribute. So that's also something that I think is better. And they also said that check swings are going to be much harder to get balls off of instead of strikes. And last year they were very lenient on those, and now that's not going to be the case. It's going to be based off your user input. And it's just going to be based off of if you were able to hold up and not off of some discipline rating. So that's pretty good. They also mentioned that foul balls are 99.9% on perfect. They're going to be fair. It's just another fact I wanted to throw out. And then here is one of the more major parts of the feature premiere, and this is called PAR. It is a new subject for pitching, and it's not even pinpoint pitching. It doesn't really have anything to do with pinpoint pitching. It's just general pitching in the game. So PAR, it stands for perfect accuracy region, and this is this little circle on the screen surrounding the baseball before you pitch, and it's like a little shadow, and that is an indicator of where the ball can end up if you get a perfect input. So let's say I pitch with Blake Snell and I throw a fastball and I get a perfect input. The ball can only go in that circle. And with that circle, it is affected by your energy and control. So the ratings for controls on pitchers are going to matter even more, and the energy is going to matter. So, for example, later on in the game, that circle is going to become bigger. Just makes sense. And as well as the shadow is going to increase per difficulty. So it's going to be bigger on higher difficulties. So that means that it's going to be easier to hit, I guess, if you get what I'm saying. Also, your primary pitch is going to have a smaller par than your secondary pitches, and it goes in order. So the primary pitch is going to have the smallest par in a pitch repertoire, and then as it goes on, the second, third, and fourth, they will become bigger and bigger as you go through those pitches. So that's another touch that I really liked. And then also one last thing they mentioned was that pinpoint pitching has the smallest par out of any pitching system. So it goes pinpoint has the smallest, meter has the second smallest, and then pure analog has the third smallest. So that means that pinpoint has a lot more control over your pitches than meter, and meter has more control of your pitches than analog. Now we're going to go to pinpoint pitching, and for this one, it's too complicated for me to just explain, so I'm just going to roll the clip from the stream. So here you go.
What is pinpoint pitching, and why did we put it in the game this year?
Okay, so maybe I said par was my favorite feature, but I think pinpoint might be. I love how challenging it is, the risk reward, how it changes pitcher to pitcher. So pinpoint is our new way to pitch. It combines a little bit of meter, a little analog, and a new specific motion that you're going to be performing with your R stick. You're going to be rated on our GERD system, gesture performance, release timing, and direction of your release. This generates 3 inputs compared to our usual 1 or 2 with other interfaces, and if all 3 are performed right, you're going to generate a perfect release with very, very high accuracy.
All right, so it is the hardest pitching method, but it is also the most accurate. So there's that balance that we're always trying to find in gameplay stuff, right, Kyle?
Absolutely, absolutely. Risk reward.
All right, so let's break it down. Pinpoint pitching, how does this interface work?
So the first thing you're going to notice as you aim your pitch, that arrow and circle on the bottom will move left or right in relation to the ball placement within the zone. And this location will be important when you finish your pitching motion. Next, you're going to see the preview inside the interface. Each pitch type has a distinct motion that needs to be performed at the same speed as the preview. That's super important. You got to perform that pitch gesture motion at the same speed as the preview, which correlates to the pitch motion of the pitcher on the mound. So that's a really cool aspect because it's going to change from pitcher to pitcher. And so your performance executing this input is known as the gesture rating. And then after you begin that motion, you're going to see some timing mechanics pop up. And this is a really nuanced part of this interface, so you're definitely going to want to pay attention to the way it works. So this timing mechanic as you begin your motion pops up at the 12 o'clock position, and all of your pitches will finish at this 12 o'clock position. The gears, you'll notice, are blue. They'll begin to rotate and start to close in on one another in an effort to help you keep the right timing with your motion. Your ideal timing for a perfect timing would be when those rings are overlapped on one another, giving the appearance that there's really just one ring there. You'll notice some dynamically colored feedback along the way that will help you keep pace as well. We're trying to give you as many possible ways to make sure that you have perfect timing. Green is good, on time. Yellow means that you need to slow down a little bit, and red means you're failing.
Right, so timing is key here. And when you pick your pitch, it's going to start the cycle so you can get that timing down. So we're going to give you that preview of the timing that you're trying to match, right?
Right, and it's definitely not an easy thing to master. This is definitely a more experienced, a more competitive mechanic, but one that rewards you because of that. Once you get that 12 o'clock position, there's going to be another timing mechanic that shows up exactly where you placed your arrow and circle at the bottom just before executing your pitch. Again, the ideal timing is when those rings overlap or the appearance is just one ring. And so the execution of this release pit will be known as your release timing. And again, a really cool factor in this is that each pitcher has a distinct pitch timing and motion. And so Kershaw in his windup, you're gonna have to sit a little bit at a top, and it's gonna take a little bit of patience and trial and error. Whereas someone coming straight out of the stretch is gonna be a quick, like 1 second. So it's gonna take something to master, but that's exactly what we were looking for out of it.
Okay, and the gestures change per pitch type, correct?
Correct. Fastball, 4-seam fastball, straight up and down being the easiest, with all of the other off speeds having intricate motions.
And this is where the strategy comes in, right? And what we're trying to really replicate here is what's happening on the mound in real life, where 9 times out of 10, a guy's best pitch is his fastball, right?
Absolutely.
That's going to be the easiest pitch he can throw and locate. And then as you're going down the line, those secondary pitches gets a little bit dicier, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And when you get down, the gesture for the curveball is probably the hardest. Actually, is the gesture for the curveball the hardest?
It is one of the hardest. I think I'd have to go with splitter, or maybe, it would be the splitter for sure. It's definitely the toughest.
Okay. All right. So split is the toughest. All right.
Oh, by far. And another aspect of pinpoint that's pretty cool is if you think of a pitcher in real life, they have a lot of things that they're trying to think about: their pitch grip, runners on base if possible, trying to keep themselves in sync and in time. And so that's exactly what you're trying to do on the mound. You're trying to manage all these inputs while executing a pitch correctly. And I can tell you from experience, I'm pitching a phenomenal game, and I have to switch pitchers in the 7th or 8th with a guy with a quicker windup, and I find myself, I'm relearning it for a pitch or two. And it's a really cool aspect of this interface.
Yeah, pitching at the major leagues is very hard.
Get good.
That's why those guys make the big bucks.
Yeah.
So that is pinpoint pitching. Let's look at gameplay and see how we can do this live. All right, so we are jumping into gameplay here, looking at Snellzilla pitching in that great new San Diego Padres uniform. So we have swing analysis. We also have pitch analysis. Or is it even called pitch analysis, Kyle?
Yeah, you know what? You can call it pitch analysis, Simone. Well, I'm okay with that.
Okay, so what is pitch analysis? What are we looking at that's popping up on the left side of the gesture?
Okay, so what you're seeing in descending order is your gesture accuracy grade, your release timing grade, and your direction grade. Each box will change colors dynamically depending on your result, with green being good, yellow okay, and red has failed. And we're trying to give you as many possible ways to absorb this information, whether it be colors or actual numbers, to interpret how you're doing and performing the mechanic.
Right.
And so in that top accuracy box, you're gonna see that we display your percentage accuracy for performing that specific gesture. There's some different thresholds between fastballs and off speeds that you can be aware of. In that second box is our timing portion, and we're displaying within hundredths of a second, and we let you know if you're early or late. And I should also take note on the accuracy portion, we also do let you know if you're going too fast or too slow. So another chance for you to see how you're performing on that mechanic.
Right, so as you're pitching in real time, we're giving you feedback so you can get better in real time as you're trying to strike guys out and induce ground and fly balls, right?
You got it. And then that bottom portion right there is your direction grade, and will tell you how many degrees off you were of your intended target.
Right, and was that a perfect I saw? Is that perfect pitching now?
There is perfect pitching.
Is it perfect pitching in only pinpoint, or does it transfer to the other interfaces?
Nope. Hey, that's part.
So yeah, I am very impressed with pinpoint pitching. It's obviously going to take some time to get used to, but I think in the end it's going to be much better than pure analog, and much better than any pitching engine we've ever seen before. One thing I like to touch on is the swing and pitch analysis. It'll give you a better breakdown this year on your pitch release, if it was perfect or good or blah 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 blah. And then lastly, gameplay wise, we have the practice mode, and they just added a few things. You can now force a certain pitch to be thrown to you and the location. So last year, you could only just choose a pitcher and a hitter, right? And they could throw whatever pitch they want in any spot. Now you can force a pitch. So let's say you want to master Jacob deGrom's fastball inside. You just can't hit it. You see it all the time. I'm just making this up. You can go into custom practice, hit against Jacob deGrom, and you can make him throw fastballs inside every single time. That's really good. I like that. And also in custom practice, you can change the gameplay style. So that's also good. And then lastly, we have the legend reveal. And the legend reveal for this was Alfonso Soriano. And that is a great legend to reveal. But SDS did kind of troll us Yankees fans. But because they did a Yankees infielder, and they just showed the two, so everyone thought it was Derek Jeter, including myself. But it ended up being Alfonso Soriano, which is still a great legend to have. So yeah, Alfonso Soriano is the legend. The first new legend confirmed for MLB The Show 21, because we just never got a trailer. So that's going to be cool. I'm going to go really in depth into his career in a video I'm going to post tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that if you're watching this the day that this video was posted. I'm going to be going in depth into his career and predicting attributes or cards of him in a video tomorrow. So make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss out on that video and any other videos in the foreseeable future for MLB The Show 21 news, and then eventually when the game comes out, MLB The Show 21 content. So make sure you guys are subscribed. So that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I've been your host, Nick from Big Ends Gaming, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.